Hey guys, so today we got a bit of a sad video. So, I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, know about McFarlane Toys. They're one of the biggest merch companies besides Funko who makes FNAF merch, and their stuff has been around since like 2016. It started development in 2015, obviously, but that didn't go so well. But yeah, they've been around for a very long time, and they've gained a lot of respect. Of course, not everybody likes them, but I feel like the majority of people do appreciate the effort that clearly goes into their sets. And honestly, I like them a lot. I collect all their stuff. I have every single set they've ever released, and I love them. They're great. They make very cool products. Obviously, they're not really meant to be played with or anything, but they're pretty nice looking. They make for good display pieces, and yeah, honestly, one of my favorite FNAF merch companies, hands down. Something odd happened. So back in 2020, they released their last wave of sets. Now, I've been patiently waiting for another wave ever since this released, or at least a reveal for another wave or something. Usually McFarlane reveals a wave every year, and then the wave comes out around like 6 months later after they're revealed, which is pretty fair. You know, a wave per year, that's pretty nice. They're nice products. I think that's fair. But it's been 2 years since the last wave came out, and I'm starting to be a little iffy on if another wave is even coming, because there's a lot of weird things going on. So, a few weeks ago, McFarlane had an event where they revealed all their new products for 2022, and it really upset me, but there was no mention, not even any mentions of FNAF at that little event. So, now it begs the question, are they making another wave? Do they still have the license? And as much as I hate to say this, the answer is probably not. Because they have ran, okay, so 2016, that was like, what, 6 years ago? So, 6 years ago, that's a long time. And believe it or not, the average lifespan for a toy license is 6 years. And believe it or not, McFarlane has ran up their 6 years, and I don't really think they're gonna be making another wave of sets unless their license gets renewed, which honestly, I'm not too sure it has been renewed, because if it has, I feel like they would have already had the sets ready to reveal, because they knew they'd be keeping their license. But the fact that they didn't have anything ready to show makes me think that maybe they just didn't have the license anymore. Of course, in the case that the license was renewed, there is other possibilities. The most likely possibility that isn't their license being gone is that they waited until after Security Breach released so that they could actually release sets of stuff from Security Breach without actually having to give out any spoilers in the merch. So, I think this is a pretty likely option. I could see them trying to do a whole Security Breach wave with all the main characters and the new characters, but honestly, I think, sadly, the more likely option is that they lost the license. Of course, this could age very poorly, or very well. I'm hoping it ages poorly, but honestly, I can't be too sure about that. So sadly, I think McFarlane Toys FNAF sets have come to an end. It was pretty abrupt. We never got Rockstar Foxy, we never got Glitch Trap, we never got Dreadbear, we never got the Jacko animatronics, we never got the Glamrock animatronics, we never got Scrap Baby, we never got Scrap Trap. And yeah, it really just feels like this toy line was cut short too early, and I really hope that they go back and decide to renew the license, because if they don't, that's gonna be really upsetting. But now this begs the question, if McFarlane lost their license, who's gonna take their place? Or will nobody take their place and we just won't have FNAF sets anymore? So, I think somebody will take their place eventually if they lost the license. Again, I'm not 100% confident on that. I'm not 100% ready to say that they definitely lost it, this video is just kind of to run through ideas if they did lose it. So, now let's move on. Who could have gotten the license from them if any company would? So, let's run through the most obvious option, LEGO. LEGO is one of the most iconic companies in general. Literally everybody knows and probably owns Legos. They're one of the most iconic toys of all time. And having Five Nights at Freddy's Lego sets would be pretty crazy considering how huge Legos are. And honestly, there's a few things that go through this that probably wouldn't work against what LEGO is usually standard to making. So let's start off with the biggest issue with FNAF LEGO, popularity. Is FNAF popular enough for LEGO sets? If it goes for popularity and marketability, I'd say FNAF is definitely worthwhile for LEGO to make. Because currently, the least popular brand, to my knowledge, that LEGO makes sets for is Overwatch. At least in the current. They probably had more obscure ones back like old back in the day, but like now the one that they currently hold that's the most like least popular is probably Overwatch. Because honestly, that's not very mainstream, but that's the most obscure brand, and it's also a video game. So I'm gonna go with the fact that it has to be around at least that level of popularity at the minimum, and I can confidently say that FNAF is way more marketable and more popular than Overwatch is. But then we got one of the other big issues with LEGO FNAF. LEGO doesn't like doing blood, gore, violence, murder, all that kind of stuff, so FNAF LEGO would probably put at risk of existing because of those guidelines that LEGO has put in place. But we gotta remember, this is modern FNAF, not old FNAF. As many of you probably know, the series has been aiming in a much more tame and kid-friendly direction as of late, so honestly, I could see LEGO FNAF existing, especially with the only real gore that they would be making in the sets being Springtrap, / any version of Springtrap, who is a character who has very censored, goofy-looking, cartoony gore, and nothing that's actually realistic or graphic. If I were to give you guys the best possible example I can get of what LEGO FNAF could probably look like, I'm gonna refer to these concepts made by Ralio20. I'm probably butchering that name, but he's made some pretty epic concepts for FNAF LEGO figures, and honestly, these are basically exactly what I would want from FNAF LEGO. I think they look great, and they're perfectly simplified and stuff. I feel like if LEGO were to make them, they'd look something like this if LEGO were willing to go the extra mile and make a bunch of unique head molds. Which is another problem. LEGO doesn't really like to make head molds too often. They don't like making new molds too often, but I feel like they could do it for FNAF just because of how much like variety there is in the characters' head shapes and stuff. I feel like it would be pretty necessary. Although, I would see some reused molds a lot. Maybe they'll make a more general Freddy head mold that can be used for multiple Freddys and still work. I'm not sure, but yeah. I do think that LEGO FNAF would look a lot like these concepts, and I think it could turn out pretty dang good, and honestly, I would really like these. Not as much as the McFarlane figures, but I do think that these would work very well, and it would be pretty awesome to have a FNAF figure that canonically scales with Sonic the Hedgehog. And even if FNAF being too mature was a problem, I would like to tell you that LEGO has an 18+ line, and I think FNAF would fit very well under there, because, let's be real, the 18+ line, that's not stopping anybody. Nobody's actually... Okay, nobody... I'm pretty sure a majority of the people who bought the Sonic set were under 18, let's be real, so I don't think the 18+ label really means much. I think it's just supposed to tell you that, hey, this set has a lot of small pieces and it's really complicated, don't give this to literal babies. And honestly, I think if they did make FNAF sets, I think putting it under this line would actually work out for the best. Like, imagine a big expensive set of the FNAF 1 show stage with Pirates Cove on the side and stuff. Like, just a big, fully detailed version of that, and then it would come with all the main characters from FNAF 1. Maybe have a little side compartment for Golden Freddy to sit in. You know, I think that'd be pretty sick. They could do a FNAF 2 office set with all the toy animatronics and Mangle attacking. They could do the parts and service room from FNAF 2. They could do a little Springtrap with the FNAF 3 office set. There's just so many possibilities. They could do the FNAF 4 bedroom with all those characters. They could just do a bunch of fully realized environments from the series that would come with a bunch of cool minifigures. And I think LEGO FNAF could work out really well if they made game-specific sets that would go along with each game, or each set of animatronics would get their own set. I think that'd work out pretty well, and I'd honestly really like that. And then we get the second option, which is Mega Bloks, or as they're known now, Mega Construx. Now, Mega Construx is probably the most likely company to hold the FNAF license, as they basically only do video games. They did Skylanders, they did Halo, they did Pokemon, so they're probably the most likely contender for FNAF. They also did SpongeBob, obviously, infamously, but I think their sets are alright. I don't think their FNAF sets would be too spectacular, but I do think that they would be pretty decent, and I think a lot of people would be happy with them if they pulled them off decent enough. Although, they wouldn't be ideal. I'd much prefer LEGO, but honestly, I don't think Mega Bloks or Mega Construx would be too bad of a choice, and they are probably the most likely, so brace yourselves if we get FNAF Mega Bloks in the near future. And then lastly, we have the most dreadful, terrifying option for this. Fat Mojo. So, Fat Mojo is directly linked to Just Toys, because they have the same parent company, Basic Fun. So, I'm gonna be honest, Fat Mojo FNAF sets, they would be terrible. The only sets Fat Mojo currently makes in their current style are Bendy and Piggy. And as much as I love their Bendy figures, man, the quality control sucks. Like, this would be awful. Like, this would be genuinely terrible. Please, do not give this license. Oh, oh no. Just no. Just, no. No. So yeah, basic gist of the video. If any company gets FNAF that isn't McFarlane, I want it to be LEGO. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you happy about this? Are you sad about this? Just anything, really. I'm honestly kind of upset. I would have loved to see McFarlane continue their line. I was really looking forward to having new figures. We could still get them in the future, but it's looking like they probably lost the license. So I guess we're going to be getting a new construction set license holder maybe sometime in the future, or we just won't, and there won't be FNAF sets anymore, which would suck. But yeah, that's basically the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.